so that's why I'm participating in the hackathon.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. Nice to meet you. You said, what's your name?
Jonas.
Eunice?
Or Jonas.
Okay, nice to meet you. You want to intro yourself?
Yeah, I'm Nick. I'm a founder of a Web3 social startup and working on the hackathon.
Hey everyone, I'm Aaron. I'm on the community team at Alchemy, so working really closely with Albert. Sorry, I just jumped ahead of you.
And me as well. I'm an engineer at MetaMask. I don't have my laptop, unfortunately. Hola.
Nice.
I'm Marek. I'm a front-end developer. I work in the community actually.
Sweet.
Hi, I'm a freelance front-end developer.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Tui. Actually, I'm a master student of blockchain DLT in Germany, and trying to learn to hack and code.
Sweet, sweet. All good? All right, awesome. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. Hey, do you want to do a quick intro? We just did a round of introducing ourselves.
Sure.
And feel free to grab a seat anywhere. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Just sitting in. Start building something. Yeah, I was here. We worked up yesterday. I'm on a solo developer relations team.
Oh, cool.
And just hanging out, trying to learn from the teams, like what you're up to.
Awesome.
I think, where is it you, Albert?
Was it you who I replied to? Yeah, we'd love to chat afterwards and learn more about Solo. Yeah, yeah.
It'd be cool to catch up.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming to the workshop. Yeah, cool. So today's workshop is all about using Alchemy to build scalable, reliable, and data-consistent Web3 applications. I'm Albert, developer advocate at Alchemy. I used to be a full-stack software engineer at a company called Samsara, and you can find me on Twitter. I'm pretty active there because I'm pretty addicted to that social media. And this is something I need to call out. If you sign up with this link, this URL, alchemy.com/hackathons, and then message me on Discord or wherever, I can hook you up with $100 in Alchemy credits for higher, basically, bandwidth and requests and supports and stuff like that. So again, building scalable, reliable, and data-consistent Web3 applications. Why is this hard to do? This is something that I kind of want to talk about, just like the theory of it and the architecture of how we've designed Alchemy to make sure that you never have to worry about it. The core problem is that nodes are in a network. Now, when nodes are in a network, you have this system where every single computer or node has its own copy of the blockchain. And because it has its own copy of the blockchain and everybody is kind of gossiping with each other, trying to stay up to date on what is the latest state, you can run into certain types of issues. Now, this is great that we have this system of networks because developers can use these nodes to make requests to the blockchain. Nodes are kind of like the intermediate, it's like the piping that gets you the data from the blockchain or sends data to the blockchain to update the state. And Ethereum in particular, for example, was designed for developers to be able to run their own nodes. So you can go home, you can spin up the software on your computer, or you can rent a server or something and get going really fast. And this is really great because we increase the diversity of people who are kind of maintaining the network, and it's decentralized. So I think it's a good direction to go in. But given that, there's still a lot of challenges with syncing the node, maintaining client updates, paying for the cost of running nodes like electricity and maintenance, and a lot of other things. And in particular, if you're someone like OpenSea, OpenSea was actually one of our earliest customers. When you hit the inflection points of 2021 and you start seeing all this transaction traffic, how do you handle that? It's actually really hard when you're just running a single node at home. So the first problem that shows up is scalability. Nodes can only handle a certain threshold of requests. It's just like your normal computer. If you have too many applications open, it'll be overwhelmed and then it'll crash. So an example of this is actually a graph from one of our customers who did not have any problems. But you can see that if you have a huge spike in your usage, for example, before March of 2021, they had an NFT drop. Pretty stable traffic during the whole time before the drop. So you might think, oh, very predictable load, I can kind of handle that. But right during the NFT drop, you had a lot of people connecting to the website, a lot of people trying to mint NFTs, send transactions. And if you're running your own node to try and process all of that, then you have to make sure that you can handle this kind of spike in requests. And if you can't, your node can go down. So what happens when your node goes down? Users can no longer make requests, your product becomes unusable, and that's a really frustrating experience, obviously. So you might think, okay, why can't we just spin up some more nodes, right? Maybe one node, it can only handle a certain number of requests. Let's just spin up some more nodes. The challenge with spinning up more nodes is that it actually takes weeks to sync a node. up to weeks. And you might have like an error, you have to restart the syncing process, things like that. And your users are not going to wait around for weeks, especially during an NFT drop, for your node to sync. So that brings us to the second problem, which is reliability. Now, with reliability, the core concept here, the one takeaway from this section of this presentation, is node reliability is equivalent to your product reliability in Web3 applications. If your node is 95% reliable, which seems pretty good, that's still 1.5 days per month of downtime, which is honestly pretty unacceptable if you want to have a good user experience. So how do we save this time so that your engineers can actually work on the product? So you're thinking to yourself, okay, I've learned my lesson. I'm going to for sure have multiple nodes, and I'll spin up multiple nodes ahead of time so I can prepare for any kind of traffic. Then you run into the problem of data consistency, and this is actually also really, really crucial. Now, with data consistency, the problem is, actually, I'll show you a little bit more illustration of the problem. But what a lot of people have, an initial thought of, or like the solution for, is like a simple load balancer, where you might spin up, node 1, node 2, node 3, and then you have this kind of layer on top of it, this load balancer, that will say, okay, whenever a request comes in, I'll find the node that's the least busy, and then I'll just have them process the request. So we have to remember in this situation that blockchains are run by a network of nodes, and because they have a network of nodes, each computer has its own kind of copy of the state that may not be the same. So every node can have the different latest blocks, and load balancing returns inconsistent data sometimes with this setup. So to illustrate this, for example, if someone goes to OpenSea, and if OpenSea were using a very simple load balancer, then a user might be purchasing an NFT like a mutant ape, and load balancer will say, okay, I'm going to route this request through node 2, it's the least busy right now, and we'll process the transaction, it'll be mined on the blockchain, and then congrats, you now have a Mutant Ape Yacht Club NFT. And then when they refresh the page, the load balancer is like, okay, this time when you are sending the request to kind of view the web page, node 3 is the least busy, so I'll route your request there to kind of load the data that's on the blockchain. And node 3 just happens to be one block behind in that particular moment. And in this case, the website would say, hey, you have nothing in your wallet, you don't have any NFTs, you haven't purchased anything, and then you'll have this error, no mutant ape found. So that's a really frustrating experience, and you might be asking, okay, what do I do, right? I've been talking about all these problems, how do I actually solve it? And it's actually pretty simple. You build out a higher level infrastructure engine, and what it looks like for you is this single URL. You just put this into your configuration, whether it's like hard hat or truffle or whatever it is you're using, and we basically handle the rest. Now, this is how we handle the rest. You can take a look at this if you want to, but nodes are just one very small component of the entire system. We have actually a little mini consensus algorithm running so that all of our nodes are kind of like updating each other at the right time and then also returning the right data. Yeah. And then these slides are, by the way, in Discord, so if you wanted to look at it more. And the benefits of building out this infrastructure, which we call Alchemy Supernode, is that with all of these key components, the coordinator service, the consensus mechanism, kind of mini consensus mechanism of all of our nodes, we have a caching layer, we have diversified node clients. It gives you all of these benefits, the perfect mix of all the solutions that we need to make sure that your app is successful. So consistent data, instant scalability. You don't have to worry about spinning up new nodes. As soon as you have more traffic, we're there to help you out and make sure that you can handle it. Increased reliability, and then enhanced APIs. This is something I can show a little bit later in the SDK portion. And free archive data. This is something that a lot of people really like. When you're developing, you probably want the history of the entire blockchain, and we give access to that completely for free. So yeah, in summary, Supernode, it's our proprietary distributed blockchain engine. We've been able to solve the kind of scalability, data consistency, reliability balance, and provide a really good experience for every developer. And Supernode was just kind of like one component. It's the core component of the Alchemy business, the Alchemy experience. But we also have a lot of other tools that we built on top of Alchemy Supernode, including build and monitor. And this I can show you in a quick second on our website, on our dashboard. We have a really great user experience where you can see requests coming in from you during the development process, or your users, where are they coming from around the world. We have Notify, which actually allows us to kind of push updates to you so that you don't have to keep asking like, hey, did this NFT transaction go through yet? Did the user like get their NFT yet? You can just subscribe to their wallet address, and then we'll actually tell you when something happens. And then we have a lot of other enhanced APIs like Transfers API, Token API, NFT API that really just get you the data that you need really quickly. And then we really pride ourselves on our support as well. If you write in at any time during our Discord or in our Discord or email us, we're always there to kind of help you out. So we also support a lot of different chains. Our whole goal is to support every single blockchain where there is developer activity, as long as we have the resources. So that's something we're trying to scale up on. But yeah, so far we have all of these, plus Solana. I actually haven't updated these slides after this week when we launched Solana. Awesome. And then this is a quick URL for our SDK quick start. So you can refer to that afterwards. You can click on this slide too. But this is a quick overview from the documentation. Basically, we have our full GitHub repo. It's open source. It's essentially a wrapper on top of the Ethers.js SDK, if you guys have used that a little bit. But we've added a bunch of extra functionality that includes our enhanced APIs. It includes like automatic retries for our WebSockets, things like that. So it's really quick and easy installation. And then after you install the app, you can initialize it. This is in beta right now, and we're doing a full launch next week, very soon. So a quick disclaimer is if you try it during the hackathon, some things might change, but after next week, it should be a stable release. And then an example here is after you initialize the Alchemy SDK, you might want to grab this particular API call for getting NFTs. And it's super simple. You just pass in an ENS address or a wallet address, and then you're able to get every single NFT object with all the metadata and what you might want. So yeah, I could do a quick demo of this afterwards if that's interesting. And then the last thing I want to introduce is the Road to Web3 community. This is something that we've had a lot of fun building out over the past 2 months. It's a 10-week program to help you kind of kickstart your Web3 career or just like hang out with other Web3 developers. And this is the Twitter account for it. We use this to kind of feature everyone's projects as they're building. But it's a 10-week program to bring you from beginner to advanced in Web3 blockchain development. And we have a lot of learning materials. So basically there's like a YouTube playlist. There's a bunch of documentation on our docs site. You can like answer quizzes on Discord every day, win swag. I know some people might not want any more swag, but it's completely self-paced. I know it said it's 10 weeks, but it's kind of designed so that like every weekend you can try something out, but you can do it faster or slower if you would like. And then the really cool thing is you can earn proof of knowledge NFTs. These are soul-bound tokens where every time you complete a challenge, we vet the challenge, but then we mint you this NFT that is associated with your wallet forever. And this is kind of like what they look like. You get one when you sign up, and then you get one for each of the submissions that you make, and they're animated, and they're kind of cool. And then the cool thing is what we're starting to do is as you show that you've been learning these projects and these concepts, we are actually like working on partnerships where you can, for example, get allow listed for a Lens handle. And if you have these NFTs, I can automatically whitelist your wallet, so it streamlines that process really well. So this is something we're really excited about. And then this is a place to sign up for that, so that you can subscribe to the newsletter, get all the information about joining the Discord and the Telegram group and whatnot. And yeah, that's it. Any questions? Sweet, cool. Is anybody interested in the SDK, just to like see what the output is like? Yeah? Okay, cool. We can go through that together real quick. I'm gonna click on this.
Like OpenSea is like one of your customers?
Yeah, they were actually one of our earliest customers, which was really interesting. They had started, I think, like 3-4 years ago during like the end of the 2018 bull market, and it was like 2 or 3 years of really like long building with no hype or anything, and then 2021 they blew up. So we support pretty much every big NFT marketplace. I think like 60 or 70% of DeFi protocols as well. So yeah, a lot of traffic going on through us. Cool, so what I've done here, actually I'll just restart. Is that big enough? Yeah. Cool, I'm just gonna make a dedicated repo for this demo. And then we're going to install our SDK. So we can copy this. Oops. This button. Awesome. And then we can copy this piece of code. Awesome. And so what's going on right here is that there's this configuration settings object, and then we pass this settings object into the initialize Alchemy call, and then this creates an Alchemy object that we have all the, we can pass into all the functions that we need. And so right here we have a demo API key that allows you to like try things out really fast. So if you wanted to just be in the docs, try things out, you can use this key. But it is pretty rate limited. So if you want to have a better experience, you would want to go to alchemy.com/hackathons and then sign in through our dashboard. If you don't have an account, then you go through the sign up flow. And then what happens is you would create an app, and depending on which chain you want to be building on, you can pick that chain. So let's say I want to be on Ethereum, and then I want to be on Gurley. I can call this ECC hackathon project. And then this should show up at the bottom of your table. And then in your table right here, you can do a quick view of your key. So you can either do HTTP requests or WebSocket requests. These are the different like URLs. Or you just want your API key. That's also there for convenience. And then if you click directly on the app, it'll actually show you the dedicated dashboard for how many compute units you're using per second, what are the total requests you're getting, are you getting throughput limited, are there any requests that are just invalid that we're rejecting, things like that. And this is part of the dashboard where you can see like the requests by country and give us feedback too. So over here, yeah.
There is no activity for let's say 1 month. So
Uh,
there's no request for 1 month to do it.
No, we don't do anything. Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
shut down?
yeah. We don't shut down. Yeah, it's the only thing we do limit by is I think for free tier we let you have 5 applications. So in our overall dashboard, right now I'm on the growth tier account for this account. So I have 15 applications. You can maintain 5 at any given point in time. So if you want more than 5, you might have to like rotate it out, that kind of a thing. But we never like shut down your apps. Yeah, good question. And then right here you can also view key. And then what I would do is grab my API key here, and we can swap this out. And then let's go back to our docs. We're going to initialize our SDK. Oh, I think we already did this. Oh no, this is get NFTs for owner. So we're going to make this call. 0xShaw is actually one of our product managers, so we always make fun of him and stock his NFTs. Cool. And then what this is doing is we need to import this as well, but we're going to get the NFTs for this ENAS address. And then we're going to basically log it out to the console. And then that should be good. So let's try this. I cannot use import statement. Oh, I gotta change the thing. There's always this like configuration for whether your repo is a module or not, but that should do it. And then this output's going to be a little bit long because he has a lot of NFTs, but you can see, for example, each NFT object has like all of these metadata fields, and so a vegan zombie. Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, for this particular NFT, you have these metadata fields like the title, the description. The metadata, where's the metadata? Raw metadata, so it's an object. And so in your code, if you wanted to access this, on your front end, you would access .raw metadata, like whatever the metadata fields are. But this just makes it super easy because normally without our NFT API or our indexing solutions or our SDK, oh hey, what's up? You would have to actually like query the blockchain for every single block after like an NFT is created, after you deploy an NFT contract. And then you have to index like, okay, this NFT ID was transferred from this address to this address, and then it was transferred from this address to this address. and then this is what the metadata value is and all this stuff. You'd have to store all that information in your own database somewhere, and then when you want to create your website on top of that, you'd have to query the data and say, okay, I want for this wallet address, which NFTs do they own? So we already see all the blocks anyways, and so we just provide this kind of convenience to get people started really quickly. So, and then just to wrap this up, after we have made these requests using our API key that you saw earlier, we should be able to see some activity in our dashboard as well. So let me refresh this. And then you can see here, our NFT API is a little bit slow, but it's because there's a huge amount of data that's coming in. But it was a successful request, one request that came in. And then that's pretty much it. So a quick tour of the rest of the dashboard. You can also see this Explorer. This is kind of like an aggregate of all of your apps. So if I had like a bunch of apps going on, I can see everything that's coming in. Or I can filter by just the, where's my ETC hack? I can just filter by one app. And then I can check different HTTP statuses, different time ranges, different JSON RPC codes. And then in our composer, this is really cool because it helps you kind of like debug a JSON RPC request really quickly. So let's say I wanted to go on Ethereum Girly and then get blocked by number. I can send this request and I could immediately get back a response. And so you can see this is kind of like the latest block number. And then in our mempool, this is something that's super useful for debugging, especially because in my MetaMask, I actually have a custom Alchemy Girly RPC. So I take that HTTP URL that you saw in the app and I add that as a custom one in MetaMask. But it allows me to have this mempool. And if I am, for example, minting an NFT, I might have a transaction that's pending because the gas is not high enough to be competitive. And then I can see like what's the status of it, how long has it been waiting. And then once it has been mined, I can see all the information about which transactions have gone through. And then in Notify, this is kind of the thing I was telling you about where if you give us an address, we can kind of give you all of the activity pushed to your server. So you give us a webhook URL, basically this is where you want your updates, and you tell us which addresses you want updates for, whether that's like Vitalik's wallet or our PM Jason's wallet, and then we'll give you those updates. And then here we have the rest of our enhanced APIs and documentation, and this is something you can explore during the hackathon. So yeah, any other questions?
Pretty cool.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks so much for coming. We have shirts. If you guys want shirts. Yeah, have fun building.
Also, everyone, we're doing some interviews for our YouTube vlog. So
Oh, yeah.